Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the effort, really trying to manifest your desires, but something just isn't quite clicking? Like there's this kind of invisible barrier maybe
Yeah.
between you and the success or the money, the really good life you picture.
Yeah, that's a really common feeling. Very frustrating.
It really is. And you start to wonder, what if the obstacle isn't out there somewhere? What if it's like subtle, something inside us?
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at 7 surprising habits that might actually be repelling the good things you want.
Okay.
And the really powerful part is just understanding these it can help you basically fix your future now. It puts the control back in your hands.
That sounds empowering already.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to feel like our own actions are, betraying our goals sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating, isn't it, how often what we do seems totally out of sync with what we say we want. You might be visualizing that promotion, really feeling it, or seeing that bank account grow, but then, oops, you miss a key deadline. Or you avoid that slightly awkward chat that could lead to growth. Right. And look, this isn't about being weak or flawed. It's usually just patterns, deeply ingrained patterns running the show, often born from these unconscious fears.
So your failure.
Or
judgment.
Exactly. Or even, and this sounds strange, but fear of success, what happens next? It's these patterns just sort of operating automatically.
Like silent saboteurs.
Yeah.
Keeping you stuck where it's familiar, maybe? Even if it's not great.
Precisely. But here's the shift. The second you see these habits for what they are, that's when you reclaim your power.
Okay, so awareness is key.
It's everything. You move from that confusion, maybe self-doubt, to real clarity, to confident action.
And you're saying for each of these repelling habits, there's like an opposite, an attracting one.
That's the core idea. For every way we push good things away, there's a way to draw them in. And transformation, the kind that really brings in the career, the income, the relationships you want, it often comes from these small, deliberate tweaks. Not huge, drastic changes.
Small course corrections, I like that. So where do we start? What's the first habit?
Okay, let's dive in. The first one, and maybe the most common, is the deceptive comfort of procrastination.
Procrastination, yeah. We all know that one.
We do. But it's more than just, feeling a bit lazy. It's a habitual delay, putting off things you know are important for your growth, for your success.
Why do we do it, though, if we know it's important?
Well, research, like from Dr. Tim Peichel, shows it's often about managing emotions. It's an escape, right? Escaping the negative feelings around a task. Maybe it feels overwhelming or boring or you're anxious about it. It's less about time management, more about feeling management.
Interesting. So it's not just about being bad with deadlines.
Not usually, no. And this habit, it literally steals your time. It shuts doors on opportunities. It creates this background hum of stress.
Yeah, that low-level anxiety.
Exactly. And when you do things last minute, it's rarely your best work, right? So your confidence takes a hit. Professionally, it can mean slower progress, maybe even shorter jobs. It kind of sends the subconscious message, I'm not quite ready for the next level.
That almost there energy again keeps you from manifesting the real breakthroughs.
Oh.
Okay, so if fear or bad feelings are the root, how do we switch to being proactive?
Right, the attracting habit here is proactive action. It's about taking responsibility, acting decisively, even if it feels a bit uncomfortable or the path isn't totally clear.
So how do you cultivate that?
First, acknowledge the emotional trigger, that discomfort. That's the signal. Then the key is to break tasks down. Make them so small they feel almost silly not to start.
Like super small.
Tiny. Think of the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it right now. Don't even think about it. For bigger things, maybe just open the file, write one sentence, send that one email. The goal is just to create momentum. Momentum kills inertia.
Got it. Any examples?
Yeah, think of Sarah. Mid-career marketing manager, really bright, great ideas, but she always waited for the right time, watched others get promoted. So she adopted a simple rule. One small, slightly uncomfortable action every single morning. Maybe sending an email she'd been putting off, or making a call, or volunteering to lead just a small part of a meeting.
Just one thing.
One small thing, consistently. And those small actions, they compounded, big time. Within a year, she wasn't just waiting anymore, she was leading. Landed a huge promotion. She replaced delay with doing.
Wow. And that proactive energy It's not just about getting tasks done, is it? It feels like it would literally attract more good opportunities, money, career growth.
It absolutely does. It changes your whole energetic signature.
That makes sense. Hey, if you listening are finding these insights useful, do us a quick favor and hit that like button. It really helps more people find this conversation.
Okay, habit number 2. This one can be tricky because it often masquerades as a positive trait. It's the hidden paralysis of perfectionism.
Ooh, perfectionism. Yeah, that feels like a double-edged sword.
It really is. And we're not talking about having high standards, which is good. We're talking about standards so impossibly high they just paralyze you. You don't even start.
Because you're afraid it won't be perfect.
Exactly. It's why so many amazing ideas, projects, books, businesses, they never happen. They stay stuck in someone's head or half-finished on a hard drive.
And you mentioned it connects to procrastination.
Huge connection. Very strong correlation. The thinking is, if I can't make it absolutely flawless, maybe I shouldn't even bother starting. Or you start, but you never finish because it's never quite good enough.
That sounds exhausting and definitely repels progress.
Totally. It stifles creativity, leads to burnout. It repels progress because you avoid taking risks, you avoid making mistakes, which is where all the learning happens. The root is often that deep fear that anything less than perfect is unacceptable, or worse, that you are unacceptable.
Okay, so if perfect is the enemy of done, what's the attracting habit? How do we move forward?
The attracting habit is embracing progress. Simple but powerful. It runs on the idea that good enough and done is infinitely better than perfect and stuck.
Progress over perfection.
That's the mantra, the practical solution. Intentionally aim for, say, 85% perfect, maybe even less sometimes. Give yourself permission, explicit permission to be human, to be imperfect.
That feels like a relief just hearing it.
Right. Set deadlines and honor them, even if the work isn't flawless. The crucial step is to ship it, get it out there. Share it, launch it.
Even if it feels scary.
Especially then, because feedback, even critical feedback on something real, is way more valuable than silence on something imaginary. And celebrate the small wins, finishing a draft, making those calls, whatever it is. This literally rewires your brain to value consistent effort, not some impossible ideal.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Michael, an aspiring author, years, literally years, with a half-finished book, constantly editing chapter 1, deleting stuff, totally blocked by perfectionism, terrified of writing a bad book.
Sounds painful.
It was. Then he learned about progress over perfection, committed to a daily word count, no editing allowed on the first draft, joined a writer's group where he had to share, finished or not.
Did it work?
He finished the book, got it published, wasn't a chart topper, but it was done. And that single act of completion opened more doors for him, connections, confidence, new projects, than a decade of chasing perfection ever did. It really shows, the universe tends to support imperfect action.
That's powerful. Just taking the step, even imperfectly, aligns you differently.
Exactly right. Which leads us nicely into habit number 3. This one can feel like it's just who you are. The invisible cage of a fixed mindset.
A fixed mindset. What does this mean exactly?
It's the belief that your basic abilities, your intelligence, your talents are just fixed traits. You're born with a certain amount, and that's that. It doesn't really change much.
Okay, I can see how that would be limiting.
Hugely limiting.
Yeah.
It repels growth because it makes you afraid of challenges. Why? Because if you try something hard and fail, well, in a fixed mindset, that's not a learning chance. It's proof that you just don't have what it takes.
Ouch. So you'd avoid difficult things.
Absolutely. You avoid hard tasks, you might give up easily if you hit an obstacle, and you can even feel threatened when others succeed, because their success somehow highlights your own perceived limitations.
Yeah, that makes sense. Carol Dweck's work, right?
Exactly. Her groundbreaking research on mindset. She showed that with a fixed mindset, the brain literally sees challenges as a threat to your core identity.
Wow. That sounds like a really tough mental cage to be in. How do you possibly shift that?
Well, the liberating truth is you can shift it. The attracting habit is the growth mindset.
Okay.
This is the belief, the understanding, really, that your abilities can be developed through dedication, hard work, good strategies, learning from others. Your brain isn't fixed. It's like a muscle. It gets stronger with use. That's neuroplasticity.
So how do you cultivate that practically?
It starts with your internal language. The single most powerful word you can add is yet.
Yet.
Yet. I'm not good at public speaking yet. I don't understand this concept yet. See the difference? It turns failure from a verdict into a process, a temporary state.
Oh, I like that. Simple but profound.
Isn't it? Then actively seek out challenges, things that stretch you just a bit. And crucially, reframe mistakes. Don't see them as failures. See them as data. Information on how to improve next time.
Like David, the student you mentioned.
Perfect example. David was convinced he wasn't smart, avoided hard classes. Then he learned about growth mindset, started small, raising his hand, asking for help, started seeing bad grades not as I'm dumb, but as, okay, what do I need to study differently?
And it changed things.
Completely transformed his grades, his confidence, and crucially, his enjoyment of learning. He started attracting academic success because he believed he could grow into it.
And that belief shift, you can see how that directly impacts manifesting, say, a better career or a new job.
Yeah.
You stop limiting yourself before you even start.
Couldn't have said it better. It unlocks potential you didn't even know you had.
No.
Okay, number 4. This is one we all wrestle with, but when it's chronic, it's deeply corrosive. The corrosive power of negative self-talk.
Oh boy, the inner critic.
That's the one. That constant internal chatter, criticism, doubt, telling yourself you're not good enough, you'll probably fail, you mess that up.
Yeah.
When that runs unchecked, it becomes your automatic accepted truth, and it just demolishes self-esteem. But it's more than just feeling bad. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you constantly tell yourself you're going to fail an interview, you'll likely tense up, stumble over words, subconsciously acting in ways that confirm the negative belief.
Wow. So you actually help create the negative outcome.
You do. It actively repels good things because it convinces you deep down that you don't deserve them or can't handle them. So you might not ask for the raise you deserve. Or you project insecurity that others pick up on. Remember, your thoughts really do shape your emotional state, your actions, and ultimately, your reality.
Okay, this one feels huge. How do we fight back against that inner critic? How do we build ourselves up?
The attracting habit is positive self-affirmation. And let me be clear, this isn't about fake or toxic positivity, ignoring real issues.
Right.
It's about deliberately, consciously choosing to speak to yourself with the same kindness, support, and encouragement you'd offer a good friend. It actually impacts your brain's default mode network, the part active when you think about yourself.
So how do you practice that? Is it just telling yourself nice things?
It's a bit more structured. 3 steps usually help. First, awareness. Just start noticing the negative thoughts. When do they pop up? What triggers them? No judgment, just notice.
Okay, notice it.
Second, challenge. Question that thought. Is it actually 100% true? Where's the evidence? Is there evidence against it? Often these thoughts are just old, distorted beliefs.
Right. Question its validity.
And third, replacement. Consciously replace the negative thought with a more positive, empowering, and realistic affirmation, something you can actually start to believe. And practice daily gratitude too. It helps rewire your brain to focus on the positive.
So, like Anna, the professional who was scared of public speaking.
Exactly. Her inner critic was brutal. She started actively practicing affirmations daily. I am prepared. I am knowledgeable. I am a clear and confident communicator. She didn't just hope she'd do well. She actively built a more confident inner voice. And she delivered her best presentation ever. It changed her career path.
That's amazing. It literally rewires your internal state to attract better experiences.
It does. It shifts your whole vibration. You start expecting good things.
Okay, maybe a challenge for everyone listening. What's one negative thought you're going to challenge this week? Go ahead and share in the comments below. If you feel comfortable, sometimes just writing it down and committing helps you, and it can inspire others too.
Great idea. Okay, moving on to habit number 5. This one is rooted deep in our biology. It's the stagnation of avoiding discomfort.
Avoiding discomfort. Yeah, that sounds human.
It is. Our brains are fundamentally wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain or discomfort. It's a survival mechanism. But here's the paradox. All significant growth, everything truly meaningful happens outside the comfort zone.
So sticking with what's easy keeps us stuck.
Precisely. Choosing the easy route instead of the challenging but rewarding one. Staying quiet with your ideas because speaking up feels risky. Staying in a job you hate because looking for a new one feels overwhelming. These are all ways we avoid necessary discomfort. And this habit directly repels growth because, well, everything you want that you don't currently have, it's usually on the other side of some kind of discomfort. Learning something new, having a tough conversation, taking a risk. You choose stagnation over possibility.
That's a stark way to put it, but yeah, it resonates. So how do we overcome that very natural urge for comfort?
The attracting habit is deliberate practice, or maybe just leaning into discomfort intentionally.
Deliberate practice, like for skills.
Yes, but also more broadly, it means intentionally seeking out things that are difficult for you, leaning right into the edge of your current abilities. The key is to reframe that feeling of discomfort. Don't see it as a stop sign. See it as a compass.
A compass pointing towards growth.
Exactly. It's telling you this way. This is where the learning is. Start small. If you're shy, maybe your deliberate practice is initiating one brief positive chat with a stranger each day. If new tech scares you, maybe it's 20 minutes a day exploring that software you've been avoiding.
Embrace the awkwardness.
Embrace the awkwardness. Embrace the uncertainty. Those feelings are physical proof that you are literally rewiring your brain, building new pathways. It's supposed to feel a bit weird at first.
Okay, like Ben the designer.
Perfect example. Ben was a graphic designer, good at what he did, but he'd plateaued. He was sticking to the software he knew, avoiding the newer, more complex 3D stuff.
Because it was uncomfortable to learn.
Totally. So he committed 30 minutes every single day of deliberate practice with the new software. First few weeks, super uncomfortable, frustrating, but he stuck with it.
Sure.
Transformed his portfolio, started attracting much higher paying clients, higher caliber projects, boosted his income, and just as importantly, his career satisfaction. He leaned into the discomfort and it paid off massively.
And you can see how that directly applies to manifesting a dream job or more money. Often requires learning new skills that feel uncomfortable at first.
Almost always. Growth demands we stretch.
Okay.
Number 6. This one is subtle but incredibly disempowering. The powerlessness of blaming others.
Blaming. Yeah, nobody likes to admit they do that.
Yeah, right. And it's not always, overt finger pointing. Often it's much quieter, more insidious. Oh, the traffic made me late. My boss just doesn't see my potential. The economy's bad, so of course business is slow.
Familiar phrases.
Very. And when you consistently do this, you put yourself in the role of the victim. Now, it might feel good for a second, like, phew, it's not my fault. But long term, it's catastrophic.
Why catastrophic?
Because if the problem is always out there, the traffic, the boss, the economy, then the solution is also out there. It's out of your hands. You become completely powerless to change your situation.
Oh, right. You're just waiting for the world to change for you.
Which, spoiler alert, rarely happens the way you want it to. You end up stuck waiting. Plus, it erodes trust. People instinctively pull back from collaborating with someone who doesn't seem to take ownership.
So that waiting energy, that lack of feeling responsible, is totally counter to manifestation principles.
Fundamentally misaligned. The attracting habit, the antidote, is personal accountability.
Taking responsibility.
Taking 100% responsibility. Not for what happens to you, can't always control that, but 100% responsibility for your response to what happens. It's the belief that you are the primary creative force in your own life experience.
How does that work in practice?
It's about asking a different question when things go wrong. Instead of, whose fault is this? Ask, what was my role in this situation, however small? And crucially, what can I do differently next time?
Shifts you from victim to agent.
Active agent of change.
Yeah.
Instantly. It puts the focus squarely back on what you can control. Your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Think of Mark, the manager whose team was underperforming.
Yeah.
Initially, he blamed them, lack of motivation, etc. Then he decided, okay, I'm going to take 100% responsibility for these results. He started asking himself, were my instructions clear? Did I connect their work to a bigger purpose? Am I providing the right support?
So he looked inward first.
He did. And as he took ownership of his part, guess what happened? The team felt seen, supported. They started taking more ownership themselves. Performance soared, morale soared.
Wow, so taking accountability actually attracts solutions.
It aligns you with the energy of creation, of problem solving. You stop just attracting problems, you start attracting solutions.
That's a huge mental shift. From feeling helpless to feeling totally in control of your path.
It's life-changing. Okay, our final surprising habit. This one can affect even the most high-achieving people. The chaos of poor prioritization.
So being busy but not productive.
Exactly that. Constantly in motion, checking emails, putting out fires, handling trivial tasks, but making zero real progress on the big goals, the stuff that actually matters long-term.
Mistaking activity for achievement.
Perfectly put. It's deceptive because you feel productive, you're busy all day. But it actively repels meaningful success because the urgent constantly pushes out the important.
Yeah, the tyranny of the urgent.
That's it. Your best energy, your sharpest focus, it gets scattered, squandered on low-impact stuff, leads to burnout, feeling unfulfilled despite working hard, and just scattered results. You're spinning your wheels.
Okay, we've definitely all felt that. Rushing all day, but ending it feeling like, what did I actually accomplish that mattered?
What's the attracting habit here?
The attracting habit is purposeful planning. It's about ruthless clarity and protecting your focus.
Ruthless clarity.
Yes, getting crystal clear on your core values and your most important long-term goals. What are the absolute needle movers? The one or two things that, if you consistently worked on them, would change everything.
Identifying the vital few.
Exactly. And then this is crucial. You schedule time for those tasks first. Block it out. Treat it like the most important meeting of your day. It's like paying yourself first, but with your time and energy.
Protecting your peak energy for your top priorities.
Precisely. Tools like the Eisenhower matrix can help focusing on that important but not urgent quadrant. That's where strategic thinking, deep work, relationship building, skill development, all the real growth happens.
Like Chloe, the business owner.
Yes. Chloe was working crazy hours, 12-hour days, constantly busy, but the business wasn't growing. Near burnout.
What changed? She identified her absolute vital activities. Developing new products and building key wholesale relationships, those were the things that really drove revenue. So she committed. First 2 hours of every single day, no exceptions, dedicated only to those tasks.
Phones off, email closed.
Total focus. And the result? Her revenue doubled in 6 months. Doubled. And she actually started working fewer hours overall.
Wow. That's a testament to focus.
It shows how strategic focus doesn't just get more done, it actually attracts abundance, more money, more freedom, more balance.
That really connects directly to manifesting. Financial abundance, a balanced life. It comes from that purposeful focus. Hey, if you want more practical strategies just like these, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next discussion. Okay, so let's recap quickly. We've just walked through 7 ways we can, often without realizing it, push good things away. Procrastination.
Perfectionism holding us back.
That fixed mindset, keeping us caged.
Negative self-talk, tearing us down.
Avoiding discomfort, staying stuck.
Blaming others, giving away power.
And poor prioritization, scattering our energy.
Whew, it sounds like a lot when you list them.
It does, but remember what you said. These are learned patterns. They aren't flaws in who you are fundamentally.
Exactly. They are habits. And the most empowering truth here is that anything learned can be unlearned. It can be reshaped, rewritten.
So the goal isn't to feel guilty listening to this.
Not at all. The goal is to feel empowered, because now you can see them. Awareness, truly, it's the beginning of all change. Those stories we shared, Sarah, Michael, David, Anna, Ben, Mark, Chloe Stone, those weren't magic. They were the direct result of making small, consistent shifts.
So don't try to fix all 7 at once.
Please don't. That's overwhelming. Just pick one. Which one resonated most? Which one felt like, oof, yeah, that's me. Start there.
Just one habit.
One habit. And commit to consciously replacing it with its attracting counterpart. Maybe it's proactive action instead of delay. Or embracing progress over perfection. Or cultivating that growth mindset. Or positive self-talk. Leaning into discomfort. Taking accountability. Or that purposeful planning.
Just choose one and take one small step today.
One small step today, another tomorrow. Consistency is the secret sauce.
Because, and I love this thought, the life you desire isn't waiting for you to suddenly become perfect.
No, it's just waiting for you to begin. To take that first, maybe imperfect step. These small shifts, practiced over time, they really do compound. They create an entirely new reality. You start attracting success, attracting abundance in every part of your life, money, career, relationships, fulfillment. It all starts with changing these subtle habits.